While browsing through a social networking site, I come across a photograph of my friend and her boyfriend. The caption below the picture expresses the girl's gratitude to fate for blessing her with such an incredible man. She declares her love for him and can't believe her luck in being able to have such a wonderful partner. The caption is followed by smiley faces featuring kisses and hearts. After seeing my friend's photo and reading the caption, I couldn't help but ponder about my own spouse. Although I would like to boast about him, I have no desire to do so simply because he doesn't deserve it. If I were to speak the truth, my text would probably read something like this. Why? How did I end up in this situation? What did I do to deserve this happiness? What sins have I committed? These are just a few of the questions that I would ask the universe about the subject of injustice. My husband is an extremely lazy person who seems to spend most of his time lying on the couch, scrolling through his phone and watching mindless videos on topics like politics, crime, and fishing. He only moves when he needs to eat or use the bathroom. As for helping around the house, my husband Pasha firmly believes that cleaning, cooking, doing laundry, and ironing are tasks solely designated for women. And if something happens to break in the house, he thinks it's automatically his responsibility to handle it. However, these kinds of breakdowns only happen once every 5 years or so. One time, my husband and I visited my brother Pavel's home, and it was truly a pleasure to witness the harmony and happiness that existed between him and his wife. They seemed to have everything under control, and it was evident that their family was thriving. During tea time, Pavel's wife Igor effortlessly took charge and made tea, cut the cake, and skillfully arranged the slices onto plates. At the end of the evening, Igor even took the initiative to wash all the dishes and then sat down next to her wife, affectionately wrapping her arm around her shoulder. To be honest, I was almost overwhelmed by the level of perfection in the household. It all seemed too good to be true. A week later, my brother and his wife returned the visit to our home. I had hoped to present a flawless image of our family dynamic, but unfortunately, my husband proved to be nothing like his brother. He seemed indifferent to the fact that we had guests and spent the entire time lying down in a lazy position, fixated on his device. I tried calling out to my husband for help, but he seemed to think that it was beneath him to assist me in the kitchen. He blatantly ignored my pleas, and I was left feeling both frustrated and angry. Despite my boiling inner emotions, I chose to remain composed and not make a big scene. After our visitors had left, I finally opened up to my husband about all the feelings that had been weighing on my mind. Unfortunately, instead of being understanding, he started to hurl accusations at me, even going so far as to call me hysterical and overly dependent on him. As he spoke, his eyes rolled so far back into his head that I thought they might pop out. My husband is like an amoeba, devoid of any ambition, goals, or desires. He simply drifts along with the current of life, without any real direction or purpose. I often find myself questioning how we even ended up together. Either he has become increasingly passive since we got married, or I simply failed to see the true nature of the man I married. When I imagine my future, I see myself as someone who is ambitious, with a great sense of humor and the ability to laugh at themselves. Meanwhile, my current partner seems content with staying at home and lacks the ability to take a joke at his own expense. Instead, he often responds with defensiveness and anger. Whenever I suggest going out to the park or visiting friends, Pasha always seems to find an excuse to stay home. He gets stressed out by the idea of dealing with traffic, complains of headaches, or claims to have eaten too much food. I have friends whose husbands motivate them to study English together, and acquaintances who enjoy exercising together, running in the evenings, and going to the gym. Meanwhile, my husband and I are slowly deteriorating as a couple because he lacks the motivation to do anything and is simply too lazy. At a relative's wedding, I noticed a couple who were having a blast all night, laughing at each other's jokes and dancing on the floor with passion. You could easily tell that they had a fantastic relationship and were truly in love. In contrast, my husband never even asked me for a slow dance. If he ever got up, it was just to use the restroom or light another cigarette. I'm unsure about the tone you want for the rewritten statement, so I'll provide two versions. I wish I knew how to motivate my husband and make him more active. I want to be with someone who shares my sense of adventure and can explore the world with me. It's frustrating to have a partner who lacks motivation and enthusiasm. I crave a relationship where we can soar and breathe in unison and go on adventures together. I don't know how to shake him out of his complacency, but I long for a true partner in every sense of the word.